Welcome to JPTV. I'm Garrett Teague.
And I'm Pam Roman. Thanks for watching. Joining us in the studio today is Christopher Alex. Chris is a UNF student majoring in advertising, and he's been working with us this summer on a rebranding campaign. Thanks for joining us, Chris.
Thanks, Pam. And hey, guys.
And now, Chris, you have an announcement for us, right?
Absolutely. We want to jazz up the intro to JPTV with some new music. We want you to create it. The contest starts on July 21st, and all the details are going to be posted on our Facebook and Twitter pages, so watch out for it.
I am so excited about this contest, so thanks for creating it, and I cannot wait to see what you guys submit.
But now let's get to the show. Last month we introduced you to an urban parks initiative called Wreck and Roll Jax, and it's already gaining national attention.
But one of the thing I want you to remember in this room is Jacksonville is leading. Jacksonville is leading.
Clarence Anthony is Executive Director of the National League of Cities. He and his leadership team were recently in town to meet with Mayor Alvin Brown and announced Jacksonville's participation in two major initiatives: better access to health care for children and black male achievement. During a press conference at Grunthal Park, the NLC named Jacksonville as one of 8 cities in the country to receive an assistance grant to expand health care for children and families. That funding led to the creation of Cover Jacksonville and the appointment of State Representative Mia Jones as the city's first health commissioner.
We need all of the help that we can across this country, and especially here in Florida and in Jacksonville. So it makes me excited to be able to work together and to see the collaboration between different organizations pushing for the same common goal.
The Jacksonville Children's Commission is the agency responsible for the local program. Its staff will work closely with Jones and other partner organizations to begin implementation.
I think it's a wonderful opportunity. There is a great need for more coverage in our area, and to win the grant is exciting. To be a part of JCC and have a role in making this happen, connecting people with the health care coverage that they desperately need. It's a wonderful opportunity.
NLC is also in town to visit programs under the Black Male Achievement Initiative and to identify best practices to share with other cities. One of the programs selected is a new urban parks initiative called Wreck and Roll Jax.
Jacksonville is one of 11 cities that are really taking on a much more comprehensive response to black men and boys. And so those programs are one of the reasons why we're here, to be able to see what Jacksonville is doing, working with the mayor and his team and with the community to also understand that we have to develop a shared vision for, as a community, of what does success look like for black men and boys.
It really makes me feel good that you got the National League of Cities and other nonprofit organizations and local leaders embracing the vision about you got to invest in young people, particularly black males, black male achievement. You have so many of them doing so well, and so you want to acknowledge that, embrace those who are challenged, and you want to help them. So it's very important for the city. It goes to the quality of life in our city, and it speaks to our commitment to create opportunity for all, for everyone to reach their God-given potential, and that's what it's all about.
So our next story is about water safety and swimming. So I was going to introduce it by saying JaxParks is making a splash with kids all over town, but Garrett said that was too corny. So I'm just going to dive right in. These second graders at Woodland Acres Elementary are part of more than 1,500 kids throughout the city learning to swim this summer thanks to Waterproof Jacksonville. Mayor Alvin Brown's team developed Waterproof 3 years ago to provide swim lessons to families facing financial difficulties.
As a principal, as a teacher, as anyone that is a child care provider, when the students are released for the summer, one of our biggest worries is anything accidental that may happen to their health. So it just eases my heart to know that they're going to be prepared in case something tragic were to happen.
This year, local attorney Wayne Hogan donated $15,000 to the initiative. It paid the cost of lessons for all of the summer school students at Woodland Acres, plus 150 children of active military personnel. Parents like Carolyn Weish say more business leaders should step forward.
I would encourage every business leader out there to get involved, find out ways to expand on this program, make it grow. This is a wonderful opportunity because a lot of children may not have the financial resources for lessons or even the transportation to get to the lessons. So I would say get involved.
7-year-old Zariah Hudson is on his 4th day of swim lessons and excited to learn more.
So, did you know how to swim before you started these lessons? So when you were around water, how'd you feel?
Kind of scared and nervous.
And now how do you feel?
Happy. Now if we're doing the back glides, I can float so I won't go under the water. So that's why I'm feeling happy.
For more information about Waterproof Jacksonville, visit JaxParks.com.
Welcome back to JPTV. Ashley, what time is it?
It's time to get our adventure on, of course, Garrett. Join me as we discover another JaxParks. Hi, I'm Ashley, and I'm here to help you discover JaxParks. Today we're in Arlington at Blue Cypress Park. Let's go see what it's all about.
Right when you walk in, you can hit the trails and work out at the fitness stations along the way. You can work on your soccer skills or get prepared for Wimbledon at the courts. The playground is a great way to bring your little ones for some outdoor fun. And there's plenty of space to play some catch with your 4-legged friend. You can drive to the back of the park or leave the car behind and walk through the nature trails. Tee off at this 9-hole course or play a game of foot golf with some friends. At the back of the park, take a walk on the pier where you can bait your hook or enjoy the views of the river and wildlife. Don't forget about the kayak spot. This natural launch is perfect to push off into the water and paddle away. Just watch out for the locals.
So come out and discover all that Blue Cypress Park has to offer. Get out and discover your JaxParks. One of the coolest parts about interning here is the time that we do get to spend in our parks. And sometimes get on the water like Don did last week.
Definitely. Hi, I'm Don White, and if you can't tell by looking at me, I love to surf. But recently I ditched my surfboard for a kayak.
Hey, I'm Joe Crespi with First Coast Outfitters, and I'm here today with JaxParks at Mike McHugh Park and Boat Ramp. We're here to paddle down the Intercoastal Waterway. But before we do that, let's go over some safety tips. Paddling at Mike McHugh Park and Boat Ramp, there's a few things to keep in mind. You should always check the tide and weather reports. You always want to make sure you've got your life jacket or PFD on. Make sure you've got some form of communication, whether it be a VHF radio or cell phone. Make sure you always got your whistle with you, and leave a float plan, letting people know where and when you plan on being back. When launching here, you've got 2 options. You've got the kayak launch, and you also have the boat ramp. When using the kayak launch at low tide, you're going to be dealing with pluff mud and oysters. So today we're going to be using the boat ramp. Let's go for a paddle. When heading north up the Intracoastal Waterway, the opportunities for wildlife viewing are endless. Check out some of the intercoastal creeks, mostly accessible at high tide. And if you have time, you should make your way up to Dutton Island Preserve and check out all the beautiful wonders it has to offer. There's a couple things to look out for when paddling down the Intercoastal Waterway. Boat traffic, jet ski traffic, oyster beds, and pilings. When you start heading south towards Beach Boulevard Bridge, you want to make sure that you give yourself plenty of room away from the pilings located underneath the bridge. These turn into strainers and could cause kayaks to flip. Once you pass the bridge, you'll have even more opportunities to explore the intercoastal creeks. You'll be able to cruise by and see some beautiful homes, or you can just take in the scenery of the Intercoastal Waterway. No matter which way you go, you've got plenty of opportunities to cast a line and catch redfish, trout, flounder, and many other variety of species you'll find in Northeast Florida. And if you're lucky, you might catch a glimpse of a West Indian manatee or an Atlantic bottlenose dolphin. Thanks for coming out with us today at Mike McHugh Park and Boat Ramp. For more information on kayak launches and parks in Jacksonville, visit us at www.jaxparks.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
I'm not sure what you did this summer, but this year I did something different. I gunned my DeLorean to 88 Marty McFly style and went back in time.
2 on, 2 outs, bottom of the 9th, and plenty of people came out to the ball game at the 7th annual Throwback Baseball Game at Clutho Park in Springfield.
It's another way that we can let the rest of Jacksonville know what a great neighborhood Springfield is. We are all about community and getting together with our neighbors. The east side of Main Street plays against the west side of Main Street. They play in the 1920s style uniforms. They use old equipment, which is pretty challenging, wooden bats, the square gloves that are really hard to catch with, and balls that are a little larger. We have a great variety of guys and girls who come out and play, and some of them played baseball in high school. Some are still great athletes, some are pretty rusty, but they all have a really great time.
And it wasn't just the players having a good time. The whole community, from adults, kids, and canines, all came out to root for the home team.
SPAR puts this event on to really build our community, and it's something that can't be found in other areas of Jacksonville. So it's cool to do a old-fashioned baseball game in an old-fashioned neighborhood.
Especially when that old-fashioned neighborhood is creating a newfangled spirit.
Hard swing, shot out to center field. He's on his wheels. It's a good way to introduce other people that don't live in Springfield to the neighborhood. And it's amazing how many people have come to the event, and then a month later they start looking at Springfield to buy a house.
So mark your calendars for the next 4th of July in Clutho Park. It's 3 strikes. I'm out of here.
This summer, UNF student Lucy Wotell worked with us to develop an awareness campaign for our Disabled Services Division. As part of that, she created a series of interviews with members of the disabled community. Up next, let's listen to her conversation with Jacksonville resident Megan Monty.
Hello Jacksonville, my name is Lucy Wotell and I'm here with JPTV. I'm at Florida Blue talking with Megan Monty, and she's here to share her inspirational story. Hello Megan, how are you?
Hey Lucy, I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing great. So tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm a Jacksonville native, and I am a person with a disability. I have a vision impairment called retinitis pigmentosa, and so I've had it since I was born, but diagnosed when I was 6 years old, and it's been an interesting journey.
So tell me a little bit about your journey.
So being blind used to be this horrible thing for me. I hated it. I thought that it meant that my life was not going to be normal. And what's happened is really over the last, 10 years, it's become what has made my life so fulfilling. Being able to now help other people with disabilities, either in a large way, where I'm sort of trying to help influence the way all people with disabilities are treated, and then down to just individuals that have the same eye disease as mine. They're able to, or they now do come to me and ask me for advice and for guidance. And so that's been an incredible transition for me and something I'm really proud of.
What have been the biggest challenges and rewards of working with a seeing eye dog?
It's a struggle regularly just to help educate the community that he is a service dog, that yes, you have to allow service dogs to enter your location. It's a novel thing. There's not very many of us in Jacksonville that have it, so it's just constantly being that spokesperson to try to help educate people. Right. And the greatest part about having a guide dog is that, it's the best part about going blind. I get to have my best friend, half of my heart, the other half is my first guide dog, but I get to have my heart with me all the time, and so it makes the whole going blind thing, the whole disability thing, not so bad. And of course they do guide me and protect me and allow me to have a level of independence that I didn't have before.
What do you think is the public's main perception of somebody who is blind or has any other disability?
And so I think the perception of people is changing. From a capability perspective, so I think people are starting to understand that we really can do a lot. I think there's still a lot of confusion around what disability is and what it looks like. So there's, people expect you to look different, to look like you're suffering, to look like there's something physically wrong with you. And really most people with disabilities don't have an outward appearance of that disability.
So knowing that this was a progressive disease early on, how were you able to cope with that?
I did have the benefit of finding out that I was going to be blind before I actually kind of was. So, I have a lot of memories of those times, the tests that I went through and what it all meant. And my parents were always pretty upfront with me. The doctors were always very upfront with me about what having retinitis pigmentosa would mean to me. So I knew by the age of probably 8 or 9 that I wasn't going to be able to drive, to get a driver's license.
What would your message be to other people with disabilities?
So my first message to individuals that have disabilities is know your rights, know how you're protected, never ever underestimate what you're capable of, leverage the resources around you, and just expect more of yourself than anyone else will, because we do have such a long way to go still for society to understand what people with disabilities can do. You have to set the tone. For other people, so for family members with, who care for people with disabilities, I would say, you see a lot of parents that do a great job of letting your kids figure it out, let them be their own advocates, help them understand what their accommodations are, what they do need to be successful in this world.
Well, thank you so much for talking with us today.
Thank you.
And back to you guys.
We asked Lucy to join us here in the studio because after her interview with Megan, she had an interesting experience. Lucy, share your movie story with everyone.
Well, when I was talking with Megan, she was telling me that she only had 10 degrees of vision, and that's looking, anywhere between looking through a straw or looking through a toilet paper roll. And she was mentioning how hard it was to go see movies, especially action movies. So when I went to see Transformers a couple weeks ago, I put myself to the test and I did this with my hands, and within a few minutes, looking through my hands, it was so painful to watch the movie, and I could sort of see what she was talking about, and I could understand why it was painful for her to go watch action movies.
And we're hoping that understanding is something that transpires through all of Lucy's interviews as you watch them over the next few months. With that, it's time to end the show, so I want to invite all the interns up, and Garrett.
Well, that's it for today's show. Thanks for watching.
You can get more information about JaxParks at JaxParks.com, and you can see more episodes of the show on JaxParksTV.com.
And you can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Pinterest, Google+, YouTube, and Instagram.
And don't forget about that music contest.
That's right. We'll see you back here next time, and until then, we'll see you in the parks.
Have those
Improve! Improve!